Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome back to another episode of Fighting Words and happy 2025, y'all. So glad to have you joining us. And as always, we're just two dads talking about the UFC. I'm joined by my co-host, Tyrell Payton. What's up, my dude?
As always, excited to be back.
Yes.
No hiatus there, but we're back and we have a fun card this weekend. So something fun to talk about.
Yes. As Logic would say, we were gone for a minute, but we're back now.
Oh my. Yeah. Didn't expect to get Logic bars here.
Hey,
Right.
man. I am who I am. What can I say? But
Shout to Logic.
Hey, if you want to come sponsor the pod, that's fine with us.
For sure.
Yeah. But we're unpacking the first pay-per-view of 2025, UFC 311. And, well, before we get into our thoughts for the top three fights of the card, please comment, like, and subscribe of what you guys are picking for these top three fights. We want to know. We're not going to do the whole card. You can go listen to Morning Combat. You can go listen to MMA Fighting for all we care. But you come here to listen to the good stuff that you want to listen to. None of the fluff, just what it is. So, with that being said, we have Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill fighting in the lightweight division. I mean, would you consider this a title eliminator with both of them? Okay,
yeah.
You would even see even with Yuri losing twice to Alex, you would consider to still be a title eliminator?
I do.
Okay.
I do, because I think at the very top of the division, he still exists in that crop of 5 or 6 guys, and because he is talented. So I think he is, but yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I would lean towards that as well, but I do think that if Yuri gets this win, he has, I think a little bit longer road than Jamal Hill does. But
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think that with the implications of this fight, I've tried to think through this fight of like who I would pick and who I'd want to see. Obviously, I kind of ride with Yuri, even though like I've had my heart broken on occasion with him, and his head getting absolutely destroyed with that nasty head kick from Alex, and it's just disgusting, man. Like, it's just disgusting. And then Jamal, obviously, with the flash sort of knockout, I know that he's become enemy number one with how much he's complained about that knockout. But I'm struggling. I'm struggling with who to pick.
Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game then. If you
Well,
to make a pick.
No, I'm not scared. I really don't know. I feel like I'm splitting hairs because it's not like I can be like, yeah, Yuri's going to exploit Jamal in this area, and it's not like Jamal's going to exploit him in this area, because they're both, I mean, for his wildly different styles of how they approach fighting, on paper they still kind of cancel each other out in like every area. So I'm split, and I don't actually want to go with the vibe pick. I'm actually going to go with Jamal Hill because I think there's a of wrestling that I think we're going to see a little bit different, but I think that he'll put the hands together. I think he won't bite on all the feints. He's not going to bite on all the chaos. And I think you get knocked out too many times in this division, like your chin is done. And I think that Jamal Hill is going to be one of those knockouts for Yuri. I think that it's going to be a tough go for Yuri in terms of him trying to find space. I think I think he'll just be more consistent in his striking. And I think, with Yuri, Chin being tested with other fights and obviously being sent to the shadow realm with his last 2. I mean, I don't know. And Yuri's durable. Like, he took some massive shots from Rakic, but like, your chin doesn't grow tougher over time. So that's where I'm landing. I think Jamal's going to be the more consistent fighter. Personally, who I really want to win? Yeah, I want Yuri more because I think Jamal's a goon. But it is what it is. I'm guessing you're picking Jamal.
What? Yeah. I don't think, if I'm being honest, and clip me up, right? Skill levels like this, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochazka, I don't think it's even close. I don't care how many fights he's had in his life. When I watch them two fight, I'm way more impressed by Jamal's ability than his. And Jamal has a lot less experience. I think Yuri Prochazka is a good fighter, but if I'm basing his skill set and his ability off of what he did to Dominic Reyes, okay, who else didn't whoop it? I caught myself. Who else didn't whoop him like that in a row too? So a lot of people beat him. So it's like, and then when you see Yuri step up and fight good people in the division, he's not look great, right? He's been smoked twice by Alex. He was about to lose to Glover Teixeira, and Jamal smoked Glover Teixeira's boots. Did you forget that?
No, I didn't forget that one.
MMA math doesn't work, but what
Yeah.
he did to him versus what Yuri did to him, it was completely different. Like he was beating Glover up every round. And I just think that also, I'm gonna say this right now, it's a hot take. Once Jamal beats him and Jamal gets that rematch, he knocks out Alex.
See,
And then we're gonna get trilogy. We're gonna get trilogy. I promise you. He's gonna knock him out, bro. He's gonna beat him. He gonna think about it. If Izzy can hit him with that punch and knock him out, why do you think Jamal Hill can't land it?
because I don't think Jamal Hills is good enough to hit him as he can.
I think he can. I think he can. We'll see. Look, we'll revisit
Yeah.
this.
I think it's worth. I think it's worth a conversation next week. If Jamal wins, I mean the speculation goes. I mean the hockey stick goes up for that. But right now, like,
Yeah.
he's got to. I mean, I think he's got to win convincingly too against Yuri. I think that if he doesn't, it takes him to a kind of a boring, snoozy decision. I see the UFC saying, "Cool, go fight Khalil. Cool, go fight another contender, and we'll just book the oh man,
They're booking
Ankalaev. Yeah,
right. They're booking it. And I was gonna say, I don't know if Alex gets out of that fight with the belt.
I mean that's not a fun fight for him either. So
he may not hit the belt.
I think that we look back at this is all I'll say too. We look back at the history of light heavyweight, right? And it's got obviously the John Jones and DC era with Rumble in there as well. Then there's a slew of other great contenders in there with Ryan Bader. With I'm forgetting all. He was still good. Hey, he was undefeated when he left the UFC.
He's
just
trash.
he was not undefeated. Is he good now? No. Let me make my point here. I think you look back at light heavyweight, and it's gotten worse over time. And my argument is, I'm not going to say it's in its best iteration right now, because I think that there were better fighters in the past, especially in that DC John Jones era. I felt like that was the best version of it. Now, has the quality of fighting improved? Yeah, but like I think Yuri is a result of more of a bad division that was in need of a rescue when he came in to be the champ, and then when he kind of gave up his belt and then Jamal won the belt, I think that Jamal was a result of not the most quality of division that needed somebody. And so I think you're seeing these guys who are, I don't think we're ready to say, yes, these guys are the best of the best light heavyweight we've ever seen, but it's as good as what we've got. And so that the argument to say is, I don't think Yuri's as good of a fighter as I want him to be. And I think that Jamal has a better ceiling for where he's at in his career right now. And so if I'm looking tactically at who approaches the fight better, I think Jamal gets it done. Now, could be wrong, and Yuri just goes absolutely wild, and we have a Tony Ferguson-esque performance where he just knees and elbows his face into oblivion. Totally a possibility. Do I think he's at that point in his career? Probably not. So, yeah, I think we're both riding with Jamal. I think that feels right. I think that's not a vibe, but that's a gut feeling sense. I don't know.
Yeah, KO guys, KO fans out there.
Yeah,
it's going to be a KO.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be third round though. I don't think it's. I think they're gonna put some hands on each other for a while. I don't think he just gets flashed. So we'll see though. I mean, it's going to be a fun one. I think this is a good fight to kind of get into the later fights in the card, and then we have the co-main event with Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov. Like I said, fans, if you guys are listening to this podcast, we aren't doing the full breakdown of like who does this well, because MMA math doesn't matter. Then I'm just going to tell you I'm picking Merab. I think he's better. I think he's more talented. I think he's more skilled. And I know that all of you losers in the comments are going to be like, but Umar does this and Umar does that. And I'm like, cool, let me see it then, because so far the machine is still the machine. And I can't wait to come back here with all of the Umar fans being pissed that Merab just took him down the entire time. All he did was try for the takedown. Yeah, defend it. And my prediction is it's going to be a slog, and Merab is just going to put the brakes on him. And I think in the later rounds, we're going to see him start to put hands on Umar, because this isn't going to be a fun fight for Umar. This isn't going to be one that he's ever faced. Anybody has ever faced. Merab knows that this guy has a chin. Only the world-class elite strikers could knock him out, and even then, they still couldn't. Like Marlon Moraes, when he was at the top, couldn't knock him out. Like this man's a machine. And I think he's going to be champ for a very long time, and I wish people would give him his credit. And I think it's very disrespectful of how they've treated him as a champ currently. And it's not like Aljo, where Aljo was like controversial in his win. No, this guy is it. This guy is it. And I think we need to start giving some flowers.
Yeah, I feel like their camp gets disrespected though, because like this is kind of a quick turnaround to make him fight him like this in this way. And I think that Dana just has a weird thing about Merab and Aljo, how they didn't want to fight each other, and he holds it against them. And nonetheless, I think Merab wins too here, man. I think Umar is a good fighter, but he's not Khabib or Islam. He's not that level to me. He's good, but Marab is just a different breed of fighter. Like the endurance he has, and he's going to shoot 50 billion times on Umar, and it's like Umar, your gas tank, if you have one, is going to be tested at the highest level in this fight because that guy's not going to stop shooting on you, not stop taking you down. He's going to start roughing you up, and your striking isn't that good enough. Like, I mean, if Sean O'Malley couldn't really get nothing off on him like that, or anyone, like you said, he didn't get finished by certain people that's cracked him. I just have a hard time. He dominated Peter Young, like dominated people. Like, I have a
Peter is
hard
considered
time.
the best, one of the best strikers in that division too.
Yeah, and he couldn't get off on him. Like, it's like he's just going to smother you. And I know you have a great camp because you train with Khabib and those guys. They never faced a guy like him either. So like, there's no way you can train for that. What he's going to do in there, and I think it's going to be a long night for him. I wouldn't even. I mean, I don't think he gets finished. I just don't think the Daggy guys get finished. Right? They don't really get
Mm-mm.
finished.
Mm-mm.
I think it's just going to be a brutal fight for him. He's going to get beat up on a lot, and yeah, I just think Marab's that good, man. I really think Marab's about to go on a good title reign and dominate a lot of people. And Umar gets exposed, which will make me very happy to see that. But I will say this: you're misrepresenting our community here. I don't think we're going to have people in the comments rooting for Umar. I think that they agree with us and they don't like Umar
Okay.
either. I
I'm
don't think
sorry,
they like him
community.
either.
I'm
I
sorry,
think they're like,
community. More so, I'm bracing for impact when we have those commenters that are so like hard
bots,
John Joe's fan or hard Tom Aspinall fan. When it's just
bots.
really like, hey guys, like this is the brass tack. I will say this as a final point. I agree with what you said, but one last thing, I've seen a lot of armchair experts saying, well, Marab's too emotional. Like he's too angry. I'm like, brother, he was more angry with the Peter Yan fight because he hates Peter. Now, like he probably
He
also
doesn't
doesn't
like Umar.
enjoy
He
the
doesn't like
other
Umar.
Russian people that are on that card either.
Yeah,
So let's keep that in mind when we see that
he's
he's going to
angry.
fight intelligent but
He was
angry.
seeing red lead like at that presser they had like a month. He was not when they did like a square like a face off. He was already seeing red, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's not happy about this guy and how he's disrespect. He said he's disrespecting me. He said he's like after we fight, he still may have to see me like outside in the street fight. He still might have
Mm-hmm.
to run the fade. He's like he disrespected me, and I don't take that lightly. So
Yeah, yeah,
competition alone, like we still might have to fight.
yeah.
So
Well, don't swing
it's
at the
gonna be rough,
champ, man. Like
right,
I think the saying is, if you swing at the king, you better not miss. And well, let's hope that Umar doesn't miss for his sake. Well,
boy?
I don't know, man. That's not a good man to get mad at with Marab. Like you can't do
He's just
that.
going to punish you. Like, and
Yeah.
then the emotional piece you said, the armchair people were saying, it's like he legit in the middle of a fight with Sean O'Malley, who's dangerous, was yelling at Tim Welsh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
was not even looking at Sean anymore. Was like worried about him. Like, that's how dangerous he is. That he's like, I don't care that you're in this cage with me. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
him, and he's talking. Like,
Yeah. Tell him to
it's
shut up.
crazy. Like, that's how good he is. He's like that confident. Like, I don't care about you. Shut up. Stop
Mm-hmm.
talking to me. Nuts, bro. He's that good,
Yeah.
man. He's that
Well,
good.
we'll see if Khabib can keep the undefeated streak alive with all of his fighters that he's coached, though. Too. I mean, that's the thing is he does have something going with all of the fighters he's coached in their corner. So we'll see. It's hard to bet against a cheat code like that, but I think we're both on the right path here. Speaking of people in his corner too, we got Islam Makhachev and Arman Saryukian. I have a hard time with this one. It's a great fight on like comparatively. Like I think both guys are absolutely amazing. I think they're this was the fight I think everybody was hoping for back when they first fought. They're like, are they both going to make their way back to the title? Are they going to be top contenders? I think Arvin had the harder road with the Matush Gamrot fight with some of the other things that kind of got in his way. And I think that Islam's definitely had the more exciting role, and I think he's been a great champ. I think there's some big things on the line for Islam too, because he'll become one of the most winningest light weight champions ever. BJ
It's a
Penn, I
big
think, is the
deal.
only one who will have more wins than him, or I think they might be tied. I'm forgetting if he gets the win. And then Armin's coming in, trying to kind of spoil the show and knows Islam. I think Islam's confident because he's beaten him before, and I think Armin is really hoping that he can pull some new things out of the bag. But at the end of the day, man, it's hard to pick against Islam. Like I think there's just a consistency there that he has, and he showed that in the Dustin Poirier fight. I think he showed it against Volk, even though you want to see that we've seen that in the past that he's gotten a little more worn out in the later rounds. And I think if there's anyone who can bring it to him, it is Armin for that. But I think Armin also fights very similar to Islam. That the later rounds you see him get a little bit more tired. I mean, we haven't really seen a 5 round Armin experience fight, and that's why it is on paper it is kind of cutting like 51% Islam, 49% Armin. And I hate doing that because I I've ridden with Armin all the way up to the top, but it's hard to pick against a guy who's been consistent and still won and challenged and still won. I think if Khabib and Islam were switching places, 100% all the chips on Khabib. But we're not in that era of Spurgeon, so I'm picking Islam, but it's a hesitant pick. I would love to see an upset from the underdog from the contender, but we'll see. I mean, apparently Armin has some things up his sleeve, so I'm excited.
Yeah, let me start off by riding the fence, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm kind of in between two, and
yeah,
I'll say that when I look at them stylistically, when I think about this fight, I'm like, Islam has the advantage with striking, and he's a sneaky good striker.
mm-hmm,
And I think Armin likes to try to throw hands a little bit. And
mm-hmm.
I do see him trying to throw hands here with Islam. And I think that could be very dangerous for him because Islam is strong and he could crack him and it could really do damage. He didn't really try to strike too much with Charles. And like, that was good. That's smart. But you can't really then shoot and wrestle Islam in that way. Like, you can't get that advantage. It's going to be a tough match. But for this pick, I'm going vibes, baby. I need Armin Sarukian to win to end my night happy because he said that he's giving the first title defense to Charles Oliveira, not a rematch with Islam. He's giving it to
Mm-hmm.
Charles, and I got to see my boy Charlie Olives get that belt back. So I'm going straight vibes for this, and
I
I hope
mean,
he knocks him out in the first round and it's lit.
yeah,
Like I'll scream, bro. I'll lose my voice. I'll be so hyped. Please, please finish him, bro. I hope that happens. But I also can say here, and so no one can try to come in the comments after me, I'm very aware how good Islam Makhachev is. And he's even gotten more exciting, truthfully, in his title
yeah,
defenses. So we don't hate him necessarily here, right? But it's like, knowing he wants to go to 170, I would be okay with him losing this fight to this guy um, and moving on. I highly doubt he moves on if he loses. But if he loses in emphatic fashion, like I hope he does, he just goes away and goes to 170, and we can see Charles fight for the belt next.
yeah. I think that Islam's days are numbered, regardless of the win or loss here to Armin. I think that we don't really see him stick around the division too much longer, whether it's to go get the double champ status, whatever. I think the weight cut's rough. I mean, there's no question. I mean,
He's a
Khabib at
big
this
guy.
well, and Khabib at this point in his career too was also struggling to cut down to that weight in 155. So I think that regardless, we see Islam at least one more fight in the lightweight division, and then he goes up. Whether that's to face Ilya Tapuria or to face rematch Charles Oliveira again, I don't know. But I do think that we have an interesting path here with Islam in these next few, I guess, these next two fights, unless something completely changes in his mindset there. But yeah, I like the vibes pick. You're busting 2025 out a little bit more vibesy than I am, and I'm definitely more of the vibes pick here on this side of the table. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great weekend of fights. I'm so glad that the pay per views are back, and obviously we had our opening fight night last week with Mackenzie Dern getting the win. But this feels like the UFC is truly back because you got to have a pay per view to watch it with.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up the show here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning of the show, like and subscribe. Let us know what you think, who you're picking, who you're rolling with, and let us know maybe who your favorite fight of the card is going to be. So, looking forward to seeing what the results are and kind of coming in with more spicy takes in the follow up. But yeah, thanks y'all, and we'll talk again next week. Peace.